So this is typically the process. Does it look really long and boring? It's long but not boring, I promise. Alright, so we start with excellent articulation. Yes, business problem. Why? Why is the first thing that I would always ask a client when they come to me with an idea that needs to be created? Why do I ask them about their business? Because we want to make money. Okay? So what is the marketing goal? What are we trying to solve here? Research, right? So there's an issue, then we do research to figure out why do we have that issue, and then we write a brief. In the brief we explain what the issue is, what we found out during our research. Then we go into planning. This is on the agency side, where people will do some thinking around what does that mean what the client just said. It's typically the hardest part. Then the creative creates an idea. Then you go into executional ideas, right? Then you go to production. Long. Alright, so you can see here that the whole first part is typically done by the brand, right? Agencies will always say, oh, you should actually, the moment you have a business problem, just come to us directly. But they also want to charge for it, so that's why the client usually says, we'll handle it. Yeah? Then you'll do some research, right? Like if you're realizing that your market share is dropping, right? You see that people are buying your competitor and not you. You want to research why that is, right? So you may pull in some focus groups. We're going to do a whole thing about research later on. Then you write a brief. So you say to your agency, this is what we found to be the issue behind the problem. The agency that's planning comes up with an idea, and then we go a little bit into, okay, once we've sold in the idea, we go a little bit into the execution ideas, production, where both the brand and the agency will play their role. So when I said, that sounds long, yeah, I can say quite long. This part can quite easily take up to 3 months. That's typically when you go to your agency, you're already 5 months behind. Because you spend so much time talking to people about what is my problem. This takes about 2 to 3 months. Well, that sounds like a lot of time, right? Like spend 2 to 3 months just thinking about stuff, but it's quite easy to get lost in that. About 1 month to think about, how do we, once we've landed an idea, how do we execute that idea? Yeah? And then about between 2 weeks for like a small social post, all the way up to 4 to 5 months for a TV commercial. So all of that together, 3, let's say plus 2, 5, 6, 10 months. So when we think about, when we're saying like, oh, this world is like, everything is moving so fast, and we have to constantly deliver and emotionally engage consumers and all this, and then we look at this and it's like, oh yeah, but it's going to take 10 months before we have something. That's the reality that you're always caught in between. You need to act fast, you want to quickly put out stuff out there in the market instead of like working on something for months and months and months and months and then release it. But you only can spend the money once, so there's a lot of time that goes into this. And then the hardest part, and if I was good at Photoshop, I would make this 2017 and this 2018. Or maybe 2018, 2019 for later this year. Right? The hardest part actually comes in now, because here it's like, you have a great creative idea, right? You have spent a month thinking about like, oh, that's a fun idea. How can we do that? How can we put it on Instagram? How can we put it on TV? And then you produce it, right? And after months and months and months, your campaign goes live, and you're like, woohoo, champagne, beer, we bar, yeah. Actually, that's not the case anymore, right? So my old boss, who really looks like a boss here, Colin Mitchell, he says today's campaigns are much less like watching a child leave for college, which is usually okay, but it's more about a child being born. The real work has just begun, right? Like now when you launch your campaign, that's when it starts, right? You put something on Facebook, you see how people are responding. Maybe you quickly remove that post, right? Like if you don't get enough likes on your Instagram photo, for example, right? You see how people are responding. You try to optimize over time. You try to be, real time. If something is happening in society, you want to jump in on that as part of your campaign. So actually, like after all the planning and producing all that stuff, literally 10 years ago, you were like, okay, that's it, vacation time. And now it's like, okay, now we really have to start ranking, now the real work starts. That's when you do stuff like this. Okay. Brands and agencies need each other because you cannot produce all this stuff by yourself as a brand, and you cannot sell anything if you don't have a brand to work for as an agency. But there's always a lot of kind of like complaining back and forth. And since I no longer work in the industry, I can freely share what some of the feedback is. So this came from a study in the UK, but I'm pretty sure it's very true in Vietnam as well. The things that clients typically complain about when it comes to agencies. They don't understand the numbers, they cannot build business cases, especially those creative agencies. It's a world where people are just coming up with the same stuff over and over again. Where's the challenge? Where's the innovation? An agency cannot do everything, and they should not be everything, right? Always the same complaints. Like working at that for 10 years, always the same thing. You know, they're not involved, right? Because the agency is not responsible for the money that's being spent, right? They play it safe, so they come up with a lot of the same stuff, right? They've done something for one client, they try to sell it to another client. So as brands, we always complain, you know, like, I paid all this money, you cannot come up with something a little bit more interesting, right? Why does it take 4 months to come up with an idea in the first place, right? And why are you trying to do all these things? I just want you to think about, you know, the creative idea and how to execute it. I don't want your stories about customer management and all that, which the agencies try to do. So here's the other side. Obviously, this comes from the agency side where it's not just complaints, but they turn into memes, right? The caption for this one was, when the client hears your idea, hate, 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 double hate, loathe entirely. Or when you present ideas to the client, to the brand, and they say, ooh, that's quite nice, but that's also quite good. Can we somehow bring those together? That's always like the thing that the creators hate the most. You know, that's what you get. A sharp horse, or a shorts, for sure. Yeah? So when the brands say, oh, the agencies, they don't understand like the numbers and like this is a real business issue, you know, the agencies say like, oh, they don't get creative. They don't understand what it's like to be creative, you know? And then obviously this one is quite famous, has been making the rounds. You know, the client comes to you, you know, you have this like beautiful kind of like big project that needs to be kicked off, and you come back with your idea. They say, oh, that's amazing, we're going to make this into a 2-hour movie, and we're going to hire famous actresses, and we're going to make it like amazing. And then they say, but we only have $20,000 to spend. And then they say, but that's your challenge. That's what you're supposed to be good at, you know? So, but at the end of the day, we all love each other, right? Because we all understand that we cannot live without each other. It's like when you have a partner you're fighting with, or a parent, you know? Sometimes it gets really annoying, but at the end of the day, we're all one family, we all have to get along. So we do it. And then sometimes we create beautiful things, okay?